A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the show. It's the first one for the week, and we have a lot to share with you. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Of course, on the show, we'll be talking about the Denver Nuggets. Everybody talk about the Denver Nuggets winning the NBA title for the first time in their franchise history. We'll talk about what happened over the weekend, talking about, of course, the UEFA Champions League. We'll also take a look at the NPFL Super Six as well. All of those will tie it up all for you to take a look at the things happening in the fast-paced, amazing, money-spinning, and rewarding world of sports. Also, on the show tonight, we'll talk about the ladies as well. A lot has been going on with the ladies. Talk about the Super Falcons, mouth-watering prize money on offer for the ladies. We'll see, hopefully, our girls will be able to grab a piece of the pie, like they say. Hopefully, they will be able to get that done. Then, of course, again, you look at Manchester City being able to win the treble. And we've got to that period in the season where a lot of information about transfers, news flying around. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk about Kylian Mbappe on the show if we have time. Also, rumors about Pep Guardiola. Hopefully, my colleague and, of course, partner on the show, Arsenal Con Akpan, will be able to fill us in with the news with Pep Guardiola, whether or not there are rumors, whether or not there is some truth to all that has been happening. All right, so I'm going to be flying solo for a while, and I'm going to start off the show before I introduce, of course, my partner who's in the Lagos studio. I'm going to introduce our guest at some point, but first, let's start you off with the NBA and talk about that moment a lot of people have been waiting for. It took a lot of time, but it has happened. Denver Nuggets, of course, winning the NBA title after defeating the Miami Heat. You see pictures as they come up on your screen. Interesting times as they got the job done. Miami Heat, there you have it, celebrating, of course, winning that title. Of course, the series ended 4-1 in favor of the Denver Nuggets, led, of course, by Nikola Jokic and, of course, Jamal Murray. They got the job done, defeating, of course, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and all the guys with Miami Heat. And it's fun. It's fun. All in Denver as the Nuggets were able to get the job done. So very interesting. These are the pictures coming through from the city of Denver. It's been celebrations all through for, of course, the victorious team led, of course, by their coach, Michael Malone, doing great things for Denver. It's been a long time coming, it must be said. Of course, Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray have been together for 5 years. It took that amount of time before they could deliver the NBA title. En route delivering the NBA title, of course, they defeated the Phoenix Suns at some point, defeated the LA Lakers, and, of course, they got the scalp of the Miami Heat in the final. Of course, they top in the regular season, also top their conference. All right, so Austin is ready now, and, of course, we do this together as always. Greetings to you, Austin. A lot to choose from, a lot to pick from. It's been a fun-filled weekend.
I know. Yeah, I mean, good to be on the show. Action-packed of the sports. Special shout out to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. What a story for the Denver Nuggets. Once again, proving to us that impossible is nothing. You know, I was thinking that the experience that the Miami Heat have got in the finals will work for them. But you just mentioned the consistency, particularly those two massive players for the Nuggets, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. And Yemi, it tells you that you must put in the work. That team did put in the work, and they totally deserve to be champions of the NBA. And what a story also for Jokic. A small Serbia was producing French Open champion in France, and Jokic was winning the NBA. Small Serbia, I mean, sports putting them in the limelight. And that's the story I always pass to our leaders in Africa, that think about that little thing you can use to turn around. And sports can actually do the magic for you. You know, Nigeria now, for instance, we've got a new president, and I'm sure we're thinking of, you know, appointing ministers. We should be thinking about reformers, people who can use sports to put Nigeria out there internationally, respect standards, and of course, make Nigeria the wonder of the world because we've got the talent. So shout out to Novak Djokovic, shout out to Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, and of course, everyone that is winning in our interesting, exciting, money-spitting, engaging world of sports. I mean, what a story. If we were to bring the conversation back home to Nigeria, the Super Six got all of us talking, and I'm hoping I will get the winning coach, Finidi George, join us on the show.
Hopefully.
Let's put some more perspective into what Eyimba did to win a record-breaking 9th NPFL title.
All right, interesting, very, very interesting. Let me go on. Of course, I'll take my seat, and of course, I'll introduce, of course, our partner in the Lagos studio. Our guest, Kehinde Idris, joins us now. Greetings to you, Kehinde. I know it was an eventful weekend, but what was the top for you? Pick of the bunch over the weekend in the things that happened in the world of sports.
I think for me, everything had its peak. This is sports. Every winning means a lot. There is no small winning, no big winning. What I saw with NPFL NWFL Super Six wasn't Delta Queens winning. It wasn't about the teams in the final. It was about the turnouts. The fans who came to see these ladies. Now, we always talk about, you know, in this part of the world, how the ladies sport...
You know what, so that we don't lose the moment.
Okay.
Let's talk about the NBA, because I don't want us to just lose the moment. We started off the show showing the clip to our viewers. Maybe I should get your thoughts. I thought it was going to be on your list somehow.
Yeah, it is on my list. But
your thoughts, your thoughts. Austin mentioned the fact that he thought Miami Heat and the experience they have in finals. In recent times, they've lost 3 finals. And a lot of people are asking questions. Jimmy Butler, I think he's 34, 35. Is he going to be able to lead the team? Do they need someone else? A lot of people said maybe Tyler Herro, probably because he was injured. But your take, and also tie in what we are seeing on the screen, the city of Denver. Congratulations everywhere. Even the former United States President Barack Obama among the people celebrating with the people of Denver, and they're putting up a show. Yeah, they put up the show, and I think one of the reasons why they are getting a lot of, you know, congratulatory message is the fact that this is the first for the franchise, and they've come through a lot. I kept saying it over the regular season, even into the playoffs. The Denver Nuggets were playing fantastic basketball, but they weren't getting the kind of accolades and celebration they should get. Now, I asked, you know, one of my colleagues, why is this happening? He said, because they are not one of those very flashy franchises in the NBA. It's not the Lakers, it's not the Golden State Warriors and all of that. It's the Denver Nuggets. And I think that played out. They continue to work do their work, you know, in the quiet, and they continue to be in the regular season. No argument, they were the best team. In the finals, talking about the ring, I think it showed why the Miami Heat are the 8th seed in their conference, and the Denver Nuggets are the best team in both conferences. I think that showed. But there was a breakdown before the final. The Denver Nuggets looked like a team that got fantastic starting. That is, the first 5 starters are beautiful, but the bench is not as solid. But for Miami Heat, it seemed like they have a more good spread,
a good, you know, good spread, and we thought that would have played out.
Before we listen to the coach, look at the man in your pictures, MVP of the finals, Nikola Jokic, and kind of feeling of deja vu. There were pictures circulating. Nikola Jokic, as a 5-year-old, had a shirt on. It was Denver Nuggets.
Exactly.
And as it will turn out to be, it turns out to be the man that hands everything for them, putting that trophy on the table for Denver Nuggets. A lot of people said he carried this team on his back.
I think another interesting thing, you know, you and Austin mentioned being from Serbia and all of that. There is also something unique about the 2 players, Novak Djokovic on the tennis court, and then we're talking Nikola Jokic. Both of them have the nickname Jokers. At a point, Novak Djokovic was called, you know, the Joker in tennis. He doesn't take anything really serious. But he said at a point, the rivalry between Nadal and Federer got him thinking seriously. These guys are adored around the world. They are like gods. Why can't I be like them? Okay. And that was the change for Nikola Jokic. He had watched a lot. He plays a lot, but whenever the time comes for getting the work done, he goes in there. And that was what you saw all through the season. Okay. This man, even at the point of winning, all he wanted to do was look at the fans, look at the management, and say, we did this. And I think it's a huge one for Nikola Jokic. Well done. He said at a point, I think you guys rushed too much to give Joel Embiid the MVP. I think you should have slowed down a bit.
All right. A lot of people said that. One of the words that he said, even before they got into the finals, I think after I defeated Phoenix Suns, he said, it looks like we're on to something. Yeah. And he did turn out that they were on to something. Let's listen to the Denver Nuggets coach, Michael Malone, of course, talk about this historic feat in the history of the franchise. Michael Malone speaking on the victory of the Denver Nuggets.
It's been amazing, because you can look at it one of two ways. You can look at it from the basketball perspective, 2 MVPs, Finals MVP, World Championship, and everything he's done on the court. And then more important for me, you can look at off the court, the relationship. The love that I have for Nikola, his mother and father back in Sombor, Serbia, his brothers Nemanja and Strahina, his wife Natalia and their daughter Ognjena. They're a wonderful family that I've gotten very close to. And I've said this many times before, but Nikola, even tonight, like he's kind of acting like this was like another game. He's never changed with all the success, and he never will. It's just not in his nature. I love Nikola, 8 years, love Jamal, 7 years, been through a lot. And just for all of us to stay the course, to challenge ourselves, to all get better, collectively, individually. It's great to be a part of such a historically great player who's an even better person, and I mean that sincerely. This is not coach talk. Nikola is just a great, great man.
I think we played the best basketball in the postseason, but I think we were there playing the best basketball. Today we didn't make shots, but still we defend, and I think it's a great journey, like you said, for the first pick. But to be honest, that doesn't matter. When you're here, you're a player, and they have a couple guys that not even drafted, and they're still playing and contributing to them to win.
All right, well said. Nothing so hard. Michael Malone and Nikola Jokic. All right, now, let me go to my colleague. I want to yield the floor to him. Up next is going to be the discussion about the Super Six. And, of course, if he has anything to say about NBA, maybe tomorrow. But I'll say, good one. I also hear that Coach Finidi is right with us, so I'll let you lead us through that.
Okay, good to have that conversation. Let's talk about what happened with this abridged season, the NPFL Super Six. I mean, what a story. If there's any word to describe what we saw at the Super Six, is that it was competitive. Eyimba, the champions, they're singing Uzobu, Uzobu, Eyimba, all around the streets of Aba. And what a way to do it, where you've got Remo Stars and Rivers United finishing on same 9 points. And, they just had to show that they are the elephants. John Noble right there lifting the trophy and handing it over to the chairman of the club, Felix Ayasi. Noble will go to drop the trophy now, I think, to get the dummy check. And kind of by the time he's back, his teammates couldn't wait. They had lifted the trophy, rush of blood to the brain there. Finidi George is the coach of Eyimba, former Super Eagles player, legend of Nigerian football. I don't know if you can remember when we spoke to Finidi George. He said he was coming to the league to make a difference, and he has won a first title in the NPFL with Eyimba, and then Eyimba winning a record 9th title. I can see Finidi George getting ready to join us, but he's just going through some technical itch. By the time we sort that out, we're going to have the legend join us to speak on the show tonight. We just want to understand what it's like to lead Eyimba to win this prestigious trophy. And Finidi George gave a charge to his other colleagues. He said, let's come back home and improve the game. Let's listen to the chairman of Eyimba, Felix Ayasi, talking about their victory and then what to expect next from the club.
The result today has also not proven that we are the champion. So we have the best of the players. Well, obviously, we cannot compete with Rivers United. It's a solid team, and they have more money. We are not envious of them for having more money than us. Obviously, their state is also richer than our state. So we got our coach according to our size. So we'll continue to give our best. But having money, doing all this is very important in football. Investing in football, investing on players, quality players, that is the way to go. I am happy that every other team has also learned that from us. So we have invested, we are a team that invests on players. That's why you get the result. Nothing else can give you the result. When you invest in quality players, you are sure of results. God on your side, the sky will be your limit. Well, you know, we are here in Lagos. We have showcased what we have, and the world have seen us. So it's now left for corporate organizations to come in. We are open for sponsorship. You know, Enyimba is viable for any sponsors. We will give you return to your money, return to your investment. Come and invest with us. This is just the beginning. There will be a new Enyimba after our participation in African Super League. So Enyimba has a lot to offer. So whoever that is investing in us will never regret it. We're a good brand. We're a good product. We know how to promote our sponsors. We know how to promote our partners. So there is room for people to come and partner with us. So we will do our best to make sure that we are no longer dependent purely on government.
That's right, very, very important, that part. Not just for Eyimba, but for football and generally sports in Nigeria, but we need to create that environment for it to be business. Finidi George is in Lagos with the Super Eagles team that gets ready to play Sierra Leone. He's also assistant coach of the Super Eagles. He joins us live on the program. I love to call him Finito. Finidi George, good to have you on the show.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Congratulations. 9th NPFL title for Eyimba. I just listened to the chairman, Felix Ayasiagwa, and he's saying that they invested in quality players. Aside the players, Finidi George, what gave Eyimba this victory?
Yeah, the hunger, the dedication from the players, I think, gave us, the victory. The players have been dedicated, really committed players, ready to work. They had that hunger to win a title, and we've been on their side, trying to help them. At the end of the day, we achieved it together.
And I hear a lot of people talk about this Abridged season. They say they like it. Some say it was so competitive. But you have called on your former colleagues, particularly those who are coaches just like you, that they need to come back home to support the league. How important is that call that you made?
I think the league is growing. Every season we see improvement in the league. Money being invested in the league. Officiating is good. So we must commend everybody that is working tirelessly to make the league better. So, like I said, I want to invite my colleagues that are in Europe, not doing anything important as per coaching, to come back and see how they can bring back.
That's a struggle right there, the network issues with Coach Finidi George. But it was good to hear his voice, you know. Yemi and Kennedy Idris, sadly, the network is not letting us hear from Finito, but I totally agree with him. It's time for ex-internationals to come back home.
Yes, I totally agree. One of the reasons why this is very murky, there was, maybe I would say his voice brought about some kind of change because whether you like it or not, Finidi George is one of those, icons of our football. Last season, all through, Finidi kept complaining, officiating, treatment to the officials, match commissioners, and all of that. He had those complaints over and over again. How are these things like this? How is it like this? This is the reason why we couldn't get points here, points there, and all of that. And probably, you can say people have been talking about it and change have been looked into. But last season was just the season Finidi was talking about all of this. And come this season, with the help of the IMC, there was a lot of change. Number one was the swiftness in, judgment okay.
Ken Idris, I'm just going to pause you. I'll pause you. Let's just go on this quick break, and hopefully we'll get Coach Finidi George back. But if we don't, we'll continue with the show. So don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Eyimba Football Club of Abada People's Elephants are champions of the 2022-2023 Nigeria Premier Football League season. And what a story. Eyimba needed to show some character in the final game to, go on to win the title. Ken Idris is in Lagos with my colleague Yemi Adebayo. We also tried to talk to Finidi George, but the network hasn't been so, fair to us. But Ken Idris, let's get on with the conversation. This Abridged League, is it the way to go?
It looks like it. Although there was something Benga Elegbele said while the draws were being done, for the Super Six. He said, maybe if we had gone through the whole stretch, 38 games, some teams that got relegated would have survived. Some always leave it for late. There is always something about, 38 different from 18. But it is what it is. Whatever comes in front of you, like they say, if you cannot manage the small ones, it will be hard to manage the big ones. So for the teams that triumphed, they had to fight tooth and nail. Sunshine to be there, insurance to be there. And I think that is how it would have stayed if the stretch went on. But I was talking about Finidi George and Enyimba. Come this season, all of the things that were, complained about, we were seeing away draws, was seeing draws for away teams, was seeing winnings, and everybody was playing football the way they should be played. But most importantly, referees were officiating the way they should officiate. Be bold to make calls and not be scared of anything to happen. For the teams who did wrong, we saw how the hammer came falling. In 2 days, 3 days after the happening, we're already hearing, the pronouncement, 3 points deducted, fine and all of that. And we saw how fans started to manage themselves, comport themselves even better. And that is the way to go. Sometimes the football is not the problem. The coaches are not the problem. It's the way the administrators handle the games. Talking about, the laws and the rules. And that we saw this season, fantastic. And Enyimba, last time we had an Abridged season, 2019, Eyimba won the title this time around. Maybe they are Abridged season champions. But Eyimba has always been a massive franchise in the Nigerian football setting.
Let me add my 2 cents. I don't know if I'm busting anybody's bubbles. But you see, it looks like since everything was cut into half, you would naturally have less problems. Less this, less that. And so before we get carried away, what we can agree on that it was a success. Nobody's debating that.
A good growth.
Yes, nobody's debating. We saw a lot of the things that we wanted to see. Of course, we'll be Oliver Twist and desire more. But I would love to see a full season. I would love to see somebody go to Lagos, from Lagos to Kano, all of those stories not there, But, some of those things happen because of is relative to our client. And that's why the Abridged League caught some of those things.
But the Abridged season also had the mixture of north, south, and all of that.
That's what I'm saying. The regularity. Some things you will have to do. Everything had come down. And I guess that's why some of the stakeholders are already calling for the Abridged League. So let's on the show, let's quickly listen to should we say former now? That's what he is. He might come back, who knows? Former Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Solidary, of course, speaking in favor of the Abridged League. Let's listen to him. And of course, we'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
I think it is sustainable. Don't forget, about 10, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, our football was at this level. the league, Leventis, ISIS Shooting Stars, the Challenge Cup was going on well. The calendar of our football, both domestic and continental, was perfect. So we have been here before, but we departed from the DNA of our football. We decided to rely on some extraneous ideas, and the league suffered. Lack of discipline in the league, lack of resources, the sponsors walked away, competitiveness disappeared. So what we simply did was to do the hard work, to hunker down, to step on some toes, to shake the table and say we must bring the league back. It's a work of 3 years, done silently, but we did what we needed to do. And you saw how the league itself reacted. Club owners reacted. They saw the transparency. So we've been here before. It is sustainable, but we need all stakeholders. It's beyond the minister. Mine is to set the direction, and that has been done. It's not left to the football administrators to do what is right. I'm an advocate of the Abridged League because that is the short therapy that is needed for a comatose league like ours. We have tried the Abridged League for the first time. We have seen that short therapy is working. It's like somebody down with jaundice, malaria, and typhoid. Before you do that long treatment, you need a short therapy to get it up and alive so that whatever medicines you're going to apply down the road will work on the person. Now we've been able to apply the short therapy. And my advocacy is that this should continue for another 2 seasons. By then, everything will have sat in its right places. A few lessons will have been learned. We'll have prepared for that longer run. And who knows, eventually, the clubs might even reduce because the enforcement of regulations, financial, licensing will become stricter. At the end of that time, you won't have 20 clubs in the Premier League. You have about 12. I'm telling you, if they apply this consistently, if you have 10 clubs, the sponsors will come, the quality will go up, and then anybody that wants to join knows that if you don't meet those rules, you cannot get in.
All right, there will be days where we'll have to look at all of the things that has been said and you know, take a proper look. But what's of advice from the former Minister of Sports, and I think the administrators should listen. So a lot of people wondered how the Super Six ended. There you have it. This is how it ended. And of course, some explanation to it. Austin alluded to it earlier. He had 3 teams finishing with 9 points, but of course, the Eyimba Elephants coming out on top, superior goal difference, and of course, that and of course, the CAF Champions League ticket. So you have Enyimba, Remo Stars, Rivers United, Sunshine Stars, Brendel Insurance, and Lobby Stars in that order, all played the same amount of matches, but at the end of the day, the Eyimba Elephants coming out on top, winning their night league title. And of course, this is the share of the spoils. This was why the Super Six was played. And you have the Eyimba Elephants, of course, getting the CAF Champions League ticket. Remo Stars, I dare say, deserve an applause getting into the CAF Champions League. And Kenya just giving them the applause. And of course, Rivers United, CAF Confederation Cup spot. These days, they've become experienced campaigners. We're hoping that, of course, the new governor will give them the support that they had from the previous governor. That's in Rivers State. So that's it for the guys. And of course, there's nothing to add. It turned out well. All right, so let me just quickly go to Austin a word before we flip and talk about the women. Austin, even though we're pressed for time, but just let's say a few words and go to the ladies. Yeah. The split, the share of the spoils, was that what you were expecting?
Yeah, in a way, because, you know, I mean, I've always said it that it was going to be competitive because the 6 teams that made it to the Super Six are top teams. Even Sunshine Stars, that people were tagging the underdogs. For me, I found it, you know, very disrespectful. You know, if you go by the history of Sunshine Stars in the Nigeria Premier Football League. But I like the fact that the teams came out, they showed their quality, you know, allow people to see the beauty of league football in Nigeria. And you heard the minister talk about we going back to the glory days where the stadium used to be packed and then people are, you know, enjoying football. I think that's what we saw. Officiating wasn't that bad. I mean, London, I was sport for choices as regards how to watch the games. which we've always been saying that the game should be live on TV. The live streams were also, streaming. So it was really good. Someone would say it was a bit harsh that Rivers United have the quality and all of that. But Remo Stars also showed consistency. The last 6 matches from the regular season, Remo Stars showed us that they enjoyed what they saw on the continent and they want to return. So it is what it is. 9 points for 3 teams, and then good football. Eyimba returning back to the CAF Champions League. Remo qualifying for the CAF Champions League, and then we have Bayelsa, Rivers United going to the CAF Confederations Cup. They just ended one campaign, so they are not visitors to that. We'll wait for the winner between Bendel Insurance and Enugu Rangers to know who completes Africa's representative, Nigeria's representative in Africa. Let's get on with the show. Let's go to the grassroots where everything happens. Before we get into the Women's League, it's no news that Delta Queens are champions. But let's start with Cherry news before we go into that news. The Prosperity Cup. We've been following this right here.
Yep.
Channel Sports. It's the 5th edition. Why do we like this? That's the governor of Bayelsa State right there, Governor Diri, with a kickoff and also some swag, by the way. I remember speaking to the governor at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, and he said they are not joking with this competition. This is the 5th edition. A record 214 teams have registered. That's about 5,350 young people, players that will participate at this competition. And it spans across communities in Bayelsa State, football academies, religious bodies, and even tertiary education, tertiary institutions. They are using this to empower young persons. And the opening games have started. It will run till about the end of the month. And so many good things have come out of this competition, and we want states to emulate this year, because every time we look at the NFF, we disregard the states. And I'm saying this is the way to go. 5th edition, they should keep it going.
All right. Hopefully, they will not run out of steam and keep it going. All right. Our next port of call is, of course, something that kind of gives you a sober reflection. And we're going to be talking about Delta Queens. Of course, the story, of what happened to some of the supporters of one of the female teams in Nigeria, talking about, of course, Bayelsa Queens, the tragedy that struck. And so let's just quickly listen to, of course, the Delta State Governor, of course, speak on that tragic incident. Then we'll come back to review, of course, the Super Six for the ladies, the winners, and of course, some of the outstanding players. But first, let's take that, of course, reaction and come back for more Sports Tonight.
We are in pain over the loss of those 5 persons. We have issued a press statement to commiserate with His Excellency, the Governor of Bayelsa, Senator Diri, over the loss of those 5 persons, and we want to once again commiserate with the good people of Bayelsa over this loss, and may God grant the soul eternal rest. Those souls eternal rest. Today it was mixed feelings in the sense that we're supposed to be rejoicing yesterday over the victory yesterday that we won Bayelsa, but it's not. We're not too happy because my wish was to say Bayelsa to win, because for that accident that happened, we can't even celebrate on that. There's no way we can celebrate when we lost 5 persons. For them to lose 5 persons and also lost in the finals, we as a state, because Bayelsa and Delta, they all won.
All right. even in sports, life matters, and of course it trumps every other thing. And you could see the Delta State governor, of course, commiserating with his Bayelsa counterpart on the loss of some supporters of the Bayelsa Queens team, and we pray, of course, for the souls departed. That also pray that the families, God will grant them the fortitude to bear the loss. All right, of course, let's move as quickly as we can, because of course we can't leave the show tonight without talking about Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. But let's take out, of course, out of the way what happened with the ladies, the NWFL Premiership. Let's take a look at some of the outstanding things that happened. And of course, just we're having a conversation with Kenny Idris in the studio. And this was what the governor was referencing. Bayelsa Queens lost after the tragic loss. They also lost the final game. They lost to Delta Queens. And in the third place game, Confluence Queens lost to Rivers Angels by a margin of 2 goals. All right, let's see some awards that were given out. Mercy Okonkwo, Delta Queens, top scorer. Chinaza Agor of Delta Queens, MVP, that's the most valuable player. And the best goalkeeper of the Super Six was Ngbechi Adeline of Delta Queens. And so those are, of course, the major highlights of the Super Six, those awards. And, of course, your winner, of course, Delta Queens. That's it. All right, we'll spend more time on this probably tomorrow. But, of course, let's go to England and talk about, of course, what has now been achieved. It was probable before, but it was made possible by Manchester City. There was no doubt. I think only a few people doubted when the results started coming in that Manchester were going to be able to do this. All right, so the guys in your picture, Erling Haaland, what a fantastic season he's had, and the other players. Kenny Idris, while we watch this in the background, because we're pressed for time, did you doubt?
I had no doubt. I was telling some people, I said, they're even more overwhelming favorite this time than when they played Chelsea. Chelsea were not in their class at all when they played that final 2 seasons ago. But this time, they're even more overwhelming, favorite. But playing Inter on that day, I think they understood what their assignment was. Be careful in every front, and then just get the job done. No matter how you got it done, be careful and get the job done. And that was what they did. Everything was basic. There was nothing out of class. If this were to be a regular time, maybe in the group stage or maybe semi-final, double legger and all of that, Inter would have received about 5 goals from this Man City. But they needed not that, where you're thinking about, just your strength and then you're exposing somewhere. They just managed it and they did that. See, with this that just happened with City, I'm having a feeling.
Quick one, before I let you go, because I know you might not touch up on what I want to ask. Can they still be called the noisy neighbors after doing this?
I think that's a huge question. Right now, I think Manchester United fans make more noise about...
Okay, let me allow you rested there. Let me go to Austin now as we prepare to go. There's nothing I can tell you about this because you're seeing it. But I don't know if you can roll 2 things into one. Can Manchester United fans still call these guys noisy neighbors? And do you think Pep Guardiola will leave?
The fans in England, Manchester City fans, are calling Manchester United the crying neighbors. So I don't know which one we stand now, but definitely Manchester is sky blue. For Pep Guardiola, I think everything we've been hearing is all data mining. I think he would stay. He would stay and he might leave also. If he stays till 2025, when his contract will expire, he would have stayed at Manchester City for 9 years. We all had these speculations just before he signed this new contract. He stayed with Bayern Munich for about 3 seasons, Stayed at Barcelona for 4 years. He might just want to go all the way, but I mean, after winning the treble, and then winning his 300th game to win the UEFA Champions League, what's there really for Pep to prove again with Manchester City? If he leaves, the media right here in the UK, they're saying that he might go to the Serie A. If he goes to the Serie A and win the UEFA Champions League, let's say, with AC Milan, he would be the first football manager to accomplish that feat. And I think Pep Guardiola would do just that. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakman. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
I want to thank Kade Idris for his time on the show. He's been under the weather, but he made it through. Kade, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a great show.
All right. That's the show today. We do hope you enjoyed everything we've been able to bring to you. We'll be back again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.